Hello, Mark Crossfield here. Welcome to the Golf Swing Weekly Fix. It's that Tuesday feeling again. We've got loads of swings coming at you sent through the apps. We've got question of the week. We've got golf talk. Let's get you playing some better golf. Let's get stuck in. So we've got 3 swings here, all with certain issues around impact, and we're going to give you a little drill to try and help you get into a better impact position, try and get you understanding again more about where your pelvis should be, a little bit more about where your pelvis should be maybe in relationship to your head or how your back feels and even how your arms feel. So look, quick drill. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about trying to get into an impact position where you get your right arm to stretch across your body a lot more. So for you guys, what we see is lots of rotation, right foot starts to kick back, upper body tends to lean forward as well with one of you as well, and that's very good for missed strikes and not very consistent striking, and also very good for trying to hit very much down and across the ball. So look, let's do a little drill. What I want you to do, set up just with your right hand, put your left hand behind your back. Then what I want you to do is just simply point the club at the target. So it's more parallel, say, with my heels almost, the club. So not out in front of my toes, it's parallel with my heels. It's pointing out towards the target. Then I'm going to stay looking down by the ball. Then what I want to do is I want to try and stretch a bit more. So I want to get my right hand stretching out to the target a bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shove my weight slightly forward. This starts putting my left hip higher than my right hip. Bear in mind I'm still trying to keep my upper body, my head back with the ball. Then what I'm going to do is just slightly rotate and then extend my pelvis, push my belt buckle, which to me feels like out towards the target. So like someone's just taking my pelvis from below me and stretching me out. Then what happens from there is I can feel quite a few different things to probably what you guys are feeling. So I'm going to put my right arm across my chest and I want to stretch it a bit further. So I'm just going to push my weight onto my left side while creating a little bit more upper body lean back away from the target. Then I'm just going to rotate my hips a little bit. So give me a little bit more stretch. I'm going to put my left hand back on the club. Then from there, if you want, I'm going to drag the club back and try and push back out into that position. Don't create the best strikes, but what I do feel is I start to feel how it should be stretching out my back through impact. We see one of you guys with your back or your upper body going forwards as your hips stay very much out of the swing, and then also lots of rotation on a couple of you, which actually pushes the right foot so far back. So to get into that stronger impact position, you've got to have a little bit of stretch down in your lower back, down through your pelvis. You've got to be able to separate a little bit more through impact, and you've also got to be able to throw the club out in front of your body a bit more. So many of you try and hit the ball by simply turning massively through, and what happens, you get no stabilisation down at impact. You don't get into an impact position where your body's starting to de-accelerate and slow down, so you can throw that club out the ball and get it stretching across your body. So again, great drill. I do this with students, and it's amazing how hard they find it is to get their body and their club into this position. And as soon as we find this position, they really start to feel some places in their body that they didn't really know existed. So again, what I'm going to do is set up to the ball, keeping my head with the ball. I've got good golf posture. I'm just going to stretch my right arm across my chest. Club's parallel, so in the middle of my feet, almost my heels. And I just want to stretch the club out a little bit further, so I'm going to push my hips forward while keeping my upper body back. So I've pushed my hips that way, laterally towards the target. Then I'm just going to rotate my hips and just stretch my pelvis out towards the target with a little bit more arm stretch, putting my hands onto the club. And this is a very common through position that you see on the telly, where they are throwing that club ahead of their body as their body stabilizes to make that impact. Give that a practice, guys. It's more kind of off course at home, that drill, trying to get the feeling of where that body should get to. Try and get out of these habits where you're hitting the ball pretty much on the run. You're almost hitting the ball kind of on the move, which makes striking consistently really, really difficult. Let me know how you get on. So more swings coming through the apps here. This one very over rotated at the top of the backswing. This guy's going for full rotation, almost hips and shoulders. Let's work on getting a little bit of stretch. So we've done this in other videos. I want you to feel you almost slightly flip the swing around, where at the moment you're turning your hips and shoulders as far as you can, almost this way. I want you to feel that you turn your chest, say, only say to my black bag in the corner here, So just past Trackman, say to this point, much smaller feeling I feel with my chest on the way back. Then on the way down, I'm going to try and feel that I stretch a bit more, so I'm going to get my hips out of the way, try and get my hips going forwards, so separating away from my chest, and then throw my hands at the ball. So I'm going to do less this way, try and stretch here, then strike a shot. Rather than you, and for lots of people, it's about trying to, they don't feel like they've completed their backswing until they've gone as far as they can, or as far as their body lets them. Try and feel that you make less of a stretch on the backswing, so simply feel that you pull your hands, arms, shoulders away from your hips on the way back. Then on the downswing, just pump those hips forward towards your target, throwing that club at the ball. Throwing the club at the ball will rotate your shoulders, and it will put a bit more rotation into your hips, rather than just full rotation that way, and then from there it's literally just an unwind into the ball. You're not getting the stretch at the right point. You're trying to get your maximum stretch on the downswing, not on the way back. So some stretch a bit more, then throw that club at that ball. You'll hit better shots, straighter shots, much more consistently struck. Let me know how you go. It's a very posture based lesson here for this guy. We've got quite sunken down address position, hands very low, weight very much almost going down through the legs into the heels. Really sunken down posture. Backswing tries to get a bit more into a dynamic position, so we start to see a bit of a lift, bit of a movement away from the ground. What I want you to try and do is start with a little bit more space between hand and club at the start. So feel like there's about a hand's width here between the top of the club, top of your left leg. Then I want you to feel a little bit taller. So just take your two shoulder blades and feel like you pinch them together a little bit more. Almost just tuck your pelvis slightly under. So rather than stick your bum out, just tuck your pelvis slightly under while pinching these shoulder blades together, just to make you feel that bit taller. Then from there, make a backswing from this to you, which will feel really tall position. Try and make some pressure pushing down into the ground. So as you separate on the way back, as you pull your arms, shoulders back, hopefully a bit more away from your hips, feel like you're pushing that weight or pushing that pressure more down into the ground, rather than at the moment you're starting very sunken into the ground, always trying to move away from it. Good way of doing this, get one of these rods, alignment canes which you see around. You can even use a shaft. Just step on it, balls of your feet pretty much on the cane, take the ball away. That better posture where you just tuck under a little bit with your pelvis and pull your chest or your shoulder blades back at the back. Then I'm going to try and really feel like, as I make my backswing, I'm really trying to squat down into this cane to try and feel some pressure into the ground, to get a little bit more connection with the ground, hopefully give you some better strikes and some more consistent shots, not starting from such a sunken down position. Thanks for sending. So question of the week coming at you here from Edward. If hitting an iron is all about compression and hitting down, why do people hit them off tees? Why not just hit them off the ground? Right, Edward, good question. There's research out there that says there's no such thing as compression. This is the science behind it, which won't help you play any better golf. The ball deforms against the face. Compression also slightly misunderstood. You can compress a ball or deform a face on, or deform the ball on the face, hitting up or down. That's more to do with the solidness of the strike than to if you're compressing something down into the ground, which isn't happening in golf. Anyway, your point about should you use tees or not from with irons, I see lots of amateurs teeing an iron up very high, and that's not going to be very good for hitting down at the ball. But to give you a little idea, probably 80% of the amateurs I teach off higher handicaps, they're hitting the ball on the way up anyway. So that's why they're teeing it up high. It helps them and it works into their plan of attack on their angle of attack. If I tee a ball up with an iron from a tee, and if I'm playing on a nice course where the tees are good, I'll often just knock up a bit of turf and hit it off there. So you're right, I would hit it off the ground. But let's say I'm feeling a little bit less confident, I want it on a little tee because it just gives me a little bit more peace of mind. I'll tee it really low, like barely off the ground, just so I can still keep that angle of attack on the descent. So you're kind of right, you can just hit them off the ground, but if you're someone hitting a 6-iron off a blue castle or something like that, you've got it teed up quite high, and that is going to encourage you to hit the ball on the way up. You can still hit it on the way down off that tee, but it's certainly not probably the best angle of attack. So good question. You don't need to tee your ball up on the tee. Hitting down with an iron is important, subject to your club head speed, but for 99% of the people, definitely hitting down is good with an iron. So tee it up nice and low. Don't tee it up too high and your strikes will improve. Right guys, what would a Tuesday weekly fix show be without talking about the right hand grip? Right hand grip on this swing, too far underneath the club, takes the club back, points the face a long way up to the sky, which as it returns to the ball is always going to want to try and return left of the target line. And then what happens is he tries to just get that path and swinging a little bit more out the target. He tries to not allow that club to turn to the left, so like a held off through impact position, if you like. Right hand grip, loads of lessons out there. I've done loads. Weekly Fix every week talks almost about the right hand grip. It's got to be more on top of that club rather than underneath to give you a little bit more club face control. The best drill I use for this for people, just single-handed shots, chips in front of them, right hand in the right place, which you can look up on many of the YouTube videos that are out there, and just chip a few shots out there. Just get used to feeling that right hand in for you, that what will feel that weaker, horrible position. And just get used to how the club face feels moving around your body. You don't even need to hit shots, going to a range trying to fix that grip. It's often not the best place to do it. Just holding the club, feeling how the face works with a better right hand position, feeling how it works even if you take it a little bit higher at home, in the garden, almost better than hitting shots, because the temptation when you hit shots will be to re-grip, get back into your more comfortable, stronger position, because it's what we now call as a strong grip, and then you're only actually practicing probably 20% of your shots in the right way. The other 8% you're just slipping back into the old grip. Right hand grip, it's Tuesday, we've got to talk about right hand grip. Thanks for sending. So let's talk about club face control today in Golf Talk. I talk about club face control a lot with students. I've mentioned it in videos. People ask me, you know, exactly what it means and what have you. So club face control, what I'm talking about club face control is being aware of where the club face is as it rotates and swings and moves and hinges around my body. Then in turn being aware of where the club face is in relation to the direction I'm swinging the club. Because if I can control my club face in relationship to the path the club is travelling on as it strikes the ball, then I can hit shots to order. Fades, draws, I can move the ball, hit it straight, I can hit the shots I need to hit. And club face control is about understanding, mainly for lots of people, certainly at a basic level, it's understanding how the grip reacts to the face. And then understanding then a few little tricks about how maybe your wrist relates to the face. But you've got to do all these things as they move around your body. So club face control is really talking about understanding where the face is at certain points as it swings around your body, understanding the feeling, he's not even looking, feeling what they feel like at different points. So often we set videos sent where maybe right hand's in wrong position like we did today in the weekly fix. That tends to close the face or get the face pointing in the wrong positions as it goes around the body, which then makes the face return not so cleverly towards the target or certainly in relationship to the path they're swinging on. So you need to have a little bit of club face awareness, and the best way to try and play with your club face awareness is to hit a few shots with some different grips, and certainly hitting a few shots with maybe some grips turn or where you hold the club more round to the right hand side and then feel how that club moves. Maybe even hit a shot, see how the ball spins or moves through the air, see which direction it curves, and then maybe do some where you turn your hands further to the left, so more in a weaker position, and then see what happens to the way the ball flies and curves in the air and the distances you can get, and play with the feeling of the face getting into many different positions, because the best players in the world have very good club face control through many reasons: technique, coordination based through their hopefully natural ability, but also as kids often growing up, they've played with club face control because what they've done is they've got bored of hitting the ball where they want to, or they've been on the course all day and they want to play around a bit, and they try to move the ball, curve the ball more in the air, go around obstacles, over obstacles, things like that. And they're playing with how they're controlling the face, controlling their wrist, then controlling their swing, to tie all the angles that things like TrackMan gives you. So club face control is important. This video doesn't really show you, I've done lots of videos where we talk about how to gain club face control in relationship to certain problems. The thing I'm really more trying to say is that you need to be out there trying to think about what your club face is doing, rather than just swinging it as hard as you can at the ball and hoping it returns to a certain position. And the best way to do that is actually to play with your grip, which in turn hopefully plays with the face to try and build up a bit of understanding of when the face feels like it's turning left or turning right, subject to the path you're swinging on. Hope that helps, guys. Let me know what you think. Clubface Control is something you understand, don't understand, something you've always been working on, not been working on. Post comments. I'd love to hear what you got to say. So last video here, we've got classic case of what I call junior hips. So impact position, the hips are basically almost in another county as he hits the ball. The hips have gone so far ahead of the rest of the sequence. So if you think about your shot, a little bit more of a sequence of events that have got to happen, or ideally should happen. If we take that sequence into, say, throwing a ball, you're making a backswing, you throw your hips so far forward that your hands are left behind, that your hand then has to somehow try and fudge and catch up. Your hand also then doesn't get much of the power up through the ground from that part of the body because the separation's so far apart. So junior hips, the reason we call them junior hips is that juniors often do this because they're trying to use their hips really aggressively to try and hit the ball further. Often they don't feel like they hit the ball far enough because they're still growing. Where actually you'll hit the ball more consistently and then consistently further because you won't hit the miss hits. If you just get a little bit more in sync, so a little bit more in sync as in a lot less with your hips, a little bit with your shoulders, and a lot more with your hands. So if we're writing a book, the downswing starts with your hips rotating back towards target first, then your shoulders, then your hands last. Yes, that's how they go. That is the order. But for you, someone who throws your hips far too early and too far forward at impact, what I want you to actually do, and I did this in another video the other day and it totally applies to you, is try hitting some shots where you keep your feet relatively flat on the ground. So backswing flat on the ground, impact flat on the ground, but start that downswing by pulling that club down as hard as you can. You'll feel your left side activate as you pull on that club. And if you get a chance, which you obviously do, you've got your phone there to video your swing, you actually notice when you feel that you're flat on the ground with your hips, you'll probably find that your right foot's up at impact like it should be, just slightly peeling off the ground, not flat on the ground. That's just the feeling. You'll find that your hips are actually more in sync with the rest of your body, and your hips more in sync will probably give you more power, and it'll definitely give you a more consistent strike on the ball. Thanks for sending. Hope that helps. Let me know how you go. What's going on here? Don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also thumbs up the video, post comments. Love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show. Get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.